Hi, I'm Michelle Chalfant, psychotherapist, holistic life coach, and human just like you, learning to navigate life's challenges. With over 25 years experience, I teach people how to get healthy using the adult chair model. The adult chair model is where simple psychology meets grounded spirituality, and it teaches us how to become healthy adults. From anxiety and depression to codependency and relationship issues, you can use the adult chair for just about anything. Each week, I share practical tips, tools, and advice from myself and a wide range of experts on how to get unstuck, how to live authentically, and how to truly love yourself, all while sitting in your adult chair. Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. I am Michelle Chalfant, and as always, so happy to be here with you. It is, the second week of June. We are on podcast number 214. And today we have a very, very special guest. We have Miss Marisa Peer on the show. We are talking all about transformation. Transformation. She is a master of transformation. And she's going to tell us exactly how to transform your life. Wait until you hear this show. You guys are going to love it. She has an awesome technique. She's got many, many books. I'm going to tell you all about her in a moment. I just want to slip in case you missed it last week. Do not forget, if you want to come and experience the adult chair and learn how to get unstuck, learn how to live authentically, learn how to love yourself, come join us. The Adult Chair Workshop is going to be live and in person right here in Nashville, Tennessee on July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. We'd love to have you. You can go to theadultchair.com/events and check that out. And again, I want to mention, this is the month, you guys, for the TAC Tribe membership. If you want to learn about self-worth and build yours up. Self-worth is about self-value. How much do you value yourself on the inside? If you have a hard time accepting compliments, setting boundaries, if you feel like you're stuck in codependency or having anxiety or even depression issues or stuck in bad relationships, it could very well be, if I'd be willing to guess, it's a self-worth issue. This is something I've worked long and hard on, and we are spending an entire month on it in this membership group. We'd love to have you come join us. If you're interested in an online course on self-worth, this is pretty much it, with a live teaching, a meditation about self-worth. We've got 4 weeks of self-discovery work, live Q&A, 2 mini coaching sessions that you get to watch and learn how to apply this model and build your own self-worth. Everything can be found at theadultchair.com. We've also got meditations there, you name it. There's a lot of free stuff there as well. So go and check it out. But if you want that membership and joining us for the month of the self-worth, go to theadultchair.com/membership and check it out. Okay. We got a fabulous guest, Marisa Peer. She is named Britain's Best Therapist by Tatler magazine. Marisa has spent over 3 decades treating a client list that includes international superstars, CEOs, royalty, and Olympic athletes. Her engaging and amusing talks are peppered with anecdotes from an unparalleled career in which she has helped thousands of people to overcome profound personal issues. She's been a regular contributor to publications including the Daily Mail, Red Magazine, Elle Magazine, Marie Claire Magazine, Closer, Men's Fitness, and many, many more. She also has appeared on major media outlets and television shows, including NBC's Today Show, GMTV, Lorraine Kelly, This Morning, and again, many, many more. She's also been on Celebrity Big Brother and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Training early in her career as a child psychologist, Marisa later earned further qualifications from the Hypnosis Training Institute of Los Angeles and the Pritikin Longevity Center. In 2015, Marisa founded Rapid Transformational Therapy, an exciting and award-winning training method that is solution-oriented, fast, and highly effective. Marisa is also a best-selling author of 5 books. Marisa's USP is that she teaches simple steps that produce dramatic and life-changing results, which you know I'm all about, you guys. Her latest best-selling and powerfully worded book, I Am Enough, enables the reader to achieve powerful and recognizable rapid results and permanently And that is about all I have on Marisa, which is quite a bit. I'm so excited to have her on today. We had a phenomenal conversation. She's a wealth of information, and she's truly one of our transformational leaders in this world. I'm thrilled to have her on today. And here we go with Marisa Peer. Welcome, Marisa Peer, to the Adult Chair Podcast. We are so happy to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. It is a true honor. As I was telling you, I have followed you for years. So this is just a blessing and an honor to have you on today. I thought we would start with, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, because I think your story and your history are really, really important as far as how you got to where you are today.
You know, it's always interesting because where I got to was not ever where I thought I was going to go. I always remember when I was 18, my parents gave me a 5-year diary, and I was going to university at the time. And I remember thinking, oh, in 5 years, when I get to the last page, I'll be married, I'll be a school teacher, I might even be thinking about having a baby. And actually nothing like that happened. I got thrown out of that college. They actually asked me to leave, which was, again, such a blessing. And I ended up going to America and teaching aerobics for Jane Fonda, which was much more fun than being a school teacher. Nothing wrong with being a school teacher. My father was an amazing and very innovative school teacher. And then I worked for Jane, and a lot of girls I was teaching had anorexia, bulimia, exercise compulsive, eating disorders, body dysmorphia. And Jane had her own issue, which she's been very honest about. And I was fascinated by the psychology of eating disorders, and fascinated by how many doctors thought they could fix it by putting people on a diet. Okay, you're anorexic, you've got to get your weight up. You're bulimic, stop being sick. And I kept saying, but it's a mental illness. You can't treat a mental illness with calories. And of course, I worked with many girls who would be actually shut into a secure eating disorder unit and only allowed out when they gained weight. And the minute they came out, they went straight back to what they knew. Mm-hmm. And so I always had this curiosity for what I call what lies beneath, and was always looking at, but what is really going on here? And when I would ask my clients interesting questions, not why do you eat so much, or why are you starving yourself, or can't you see that this is unhealthy, I'd ask them, what's going on in your life when this happened? And when this happened, let's talk about what was happening to you. And they would tell me the most eye-popping stuff that they hadn't connected. And then I created my own brand of therapy, very much based on asking very different, very powerful questions in order to work out with the client, not for them, like Marvin Gaye said, what's going on. And a lot of therapists will say to clients, so how do you feel, and how does that make you feel? I never ask my clients that. I say, I want you to tell me, you just said when you were 10 years old, your grandfather became sexually interested in you, and then you became anorexic. So I want you to say, I'm 10 years old. My granddad's looking at me really funny, and it makes me feel, and they go, it makes me feel scared of developing, scared of being a woman. I'm scared of getting breasts and hips because he's already really freaky. And then they began to understand something so compelling that they unconsciously asked for this. Let's talk about when you got the headaches, what was going on. Well, my dad was really pushing me to go to a better school. He kept saying I had to take over the family accountancy firm. I don't want to be an accountant, but every time I told him, he'd get really cross and go, it has to be you. And then I got these terrible headaches, and he began to go, well, you could never be an accountant. You'd be lucky if you could work in a restaurant. And they had an epiphany moment. With me, it was all about, they discovered, oh, did I unconsciously create this? Yes. But that's great news, because if you unconsciously created it, guess what? You can consciously let go of it. And it's never about blaming the client. No one chooses to get excruciating headaches or make their body obese or always be late or get a nervous twitch. Nobody would choose that. But we unconsciously say, I can't cope with the pressure. I mean, we all say this, my job is killing me, the commute is killing me, my kid is driving me insane, This client makes me want to die. Now, when you say those things to the mind, that is a direct command. The mind thinks, oh my God, if your job is killing you, why don't I give you lovely anxiety attacks? How about a nice ulcer? Now you can't go to the job that's killing you, and I've done my job. And our mind's job is really just to keep us alive on the planet, and it does its job better when we do our job better, which is a dialogue with it in a much better way than we already are, because your mind has no choice but to act upon the words you say, but you have a choice to say better words.
So when you say the mind, are you speaking of the conscious mind, unconscious mind?
The unconscious mind. The
Mhm.
unconscious mind, which, by the way, is always switched on
Mhm.
and always on record. It never runs out of batteries. It's always on. It records everything. And many clients will come back and say, I can't speak in public. I'm really bad at being the center of attention. We know the most common fear in the Western world is the fear of speaking in public.
True.
But it's not that at all. It's the fear of being rejected. And very often a child will try to read a word like bridge and they go bridka. Or they try to say spinach and they read spinach. Because, phonetically words are spelt in a very peculiar way, rough and rough. Two different words spelt the same way. And so if rough is spelled R-O-G-H, then surely bow should be spelled buff. So, but when we laugh at them and go, why can't you speak? Or what's wrong with you? And I've already told you the D is silent. The child, if they're humiliated in class or at home, forms a belief, I'm never going to speak in public again, ever, ever, ever. And of course we forget, but the mind never forgets. And 30 years later, you're about to go for an interview or you're about to give a presentation or even do some crowd running. Your mind goes, oh my God, no. You don't want to speak in public, because its job is to find out what hurts us. And most of us here can say, when I was a kid, I was made to eat spinach or uncooked eggs or fish, and it was disgusting. And to this day, I can't stand it. I was made to eat fatty meat at school lunch, and I can't bear it now. And my grandmother, who was very Scottish, used to always give me whiskey when I was a little girl and had a cold. And for a child, drinking warm whiskey is just disgusting. This day, I cannot bear the smell of whiskey. I could never drink that stuff because my mind decided I didn't like it, which is great for whiskey. But when you say, if another guy rips my heart out and jumps all over, I'll die. If another boss shouts at me, it will kill me. We don't mean these things, but we say the most extraordinary things. Like I notice in America, people say, I lost my shit and I'm losing my shit, which is clearly not true because they don't. But when you say that, your mind thinks if going to work is making you lose your shit, which is very embarrassing indeed, I should give you an answer and then you have to stay at home, or a nervous twitch, or maybe agoraphobia. And one of my most profound cases was a girl who was light sensitive. She couldn't go out in light without coming out in blisters, and that was awful for her because she was condemned to being indoors, and now we all know what that's like.
Yeah.
That was her life for years. And when I said to her what was going on, it happened. She said, I was being bullied at school, and my mum, as a single parent, couldn't stay home and look after me, and I had to go to school and get more bullied. And I said, what did you think? She said, oh, I just wanted to stay at home all the time and never leave. For a child, that's very seductive when you're being bullied. But we think these are throwaway lines. They are not throwaway lines. They are direct commands to the mind. Do anything and everything to make sure I stay at home and don't have to go to school. Problem is that long after school was over, she's now still condemned to staying at home because the mind, while it knows how to set something off, it doesn't know how to undo it. So many people who say, oh my God, when I was 14, I thought I was pregnant. Oh, that was terror time. My parents are so religious. They would have killed me, killed themselves. And now 25 years later, they can't get pregnant because the mind has a belief it's very dangerous to be pregnant. Maybe at 14, not at 34. So our job is to always go back and uncover what lies beneath
Mm.
with the client, not for them. And they always find it empowering and liberating and really exciting, because instead of thinking, oh, what an idiot, I did this to myself, they think, wow, I did this, I'm that powerful, then I can undo it. Because I always say to them, this is so powerful that you could create it, and now you can uncreate it.
So I have a question. So what if, and I want to hear your story about how you went from Jane Fonda to what you're doing today, of
Oh,
course.
okay.
We got to catch up people up. But what if we can't recall what the belief that was implanted, and that's my word for it, but
Yeah.
when we were 3 years old, let's say, like, what if we can't remember what that belief was? What do we do?
And that's very common, because before the age of 3, you have no logic. So a child at 3 whose mum is working all night because they get paid more money for night shift a day can't rationalize. They can only rationalize one thing: my mum doesn't love me. She's always at work. She prefers work. My dad's never here. I mean, dad might be doing 3 jobs he hates just to make the bills. But the child's belief is, if you loved me, you'd be at home with me. And so your question about what if the people can't remember, they often can't remember, which is why I use hypnosis, RTT, which means Rapid Transformational Therapy. Is not a hypnosis method per se. It's a revolutionary, groundbreaking method all on its own, but it uses hypnosis to take people back. And the stuff they go back to is absolutely mind-boggling and fascinating, because conventional therapy would often go, why do you think you do that? I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be here, would I? Why do you think you drink so much? I don't know. I just got the alcoholic gene. And even in hypnosis, often they don't ask quite the right questions. One of my clients, who was a terrible drinker, when I took him back, he said, oh, I never saw my dad, but the day I was 17, he came and got me, took me to the pub, got me completely drunk, and said, you're a man now, and continued to take me out drinking. And it was the only way he connected to me. So that was a belief. But then you go further. So what? I tap their head and go, what is the thought? And they go, drinking is bonding. Drinking makes people like you. Drinking connects me with people who don't like me unless I have a drink. And so it's such an interesting thing to go back to. And recently I worked with this girl who said, I'm always 30 pounds overweight. I've done everything. I've had liposuction, I've taken diet pills, I've had my jaw, but it always comes back. And when she went back to being a tiny baby without words, actually, because babies don't have words. But she had a very clear memory of her mother bringing her back from the hospital and hearing these words: if that baby doesn't gain weight, she's going to have to come back on an incubator. Your job is to fatten up that baby. And every time she threw up the milk, the mother would cry hysterically. And the father would go, oh, don't worry, just got to get more food in her. And they had monitors in her crib, so that if she vomited, they'd have to start feeding again. And this went on every 90 minutes because she was premature. But then when she gained weight, they went, oh, this is good. You're a good eater. What a good girl. So she formed 2 beliefs. One is your mum loves you more if you eat, and you're loved if you eat. And secondly, you're really hurting your mother if you don't eat. It upsets her.
Mm-hmm.
And many parents go, I spent 2 hours making that. Think of the starving children in Africa. This is the Clean Plate Club. You're a naughty girl to leave it. Your brother, he's so good. He cleans his plate. And these seem like such simple things, but because they're repeated over and over, they form an imprint in that person's mind. People like you if you eat, and you upset them if you don't eat.
So is it as simple as putting a new belief over it? How do we then change those beliefs if we do have a memory of maybe a belief that what our mother said when we were a child?
And that's such a great question. So what I did in RTT was to create techniques that I found missing in the therapeutic world, because many therapists either just try and put a new belief in while leaving the old belief behind, or they belief that always looked at the old belief and now let's put the new one in. That's like you say, I mowed the lawn and I mowed all these weeds. Why are they coming back? Well, you left the roots in place, of course.
Yeah.
And if you don't pull out the roots, things come back. So what RTT does is, first of all, you put on your detective hat and you become what I call a good detective. A good detective gathers information, looks at scenes and go, look at that. Wow, look at that scene and make sense of it. So all of the people I train are highly skilled at looking at a scene and making sense of it. But that's not enough, because we all know people who go, I know why I drink. I know why I run away from love. I know why I self-sabotage and procrastinate and mess up. I know. So knowing isn't quite enough. It's a good start. And then they put on a dentist hat, and like the dentist, they start to extract all the toxic beliefs. And there are many ways that RTT does that. One of them is something called It's Not Me. And I find the simplest strategies are the most mind-blowing. And so we have the client go, look, that's not me. I'm no longer a premature baby whose mother is crying because I won't finish the food. In fact, I now weigh 250 pounds. I can never die from not eating enough. It's not me. It isn't me. It won't be me. It can't be me. It will not be me ever, ever, ever again. And they kind of make these statements because what they're doing is upgrading their thinking. So first they go back and have a look at why. Secondly, they interpret and understand why, and then they massively interrupt that belief by challenging it. Because, of course, when you challenge a belief, you don't believe it anymore. I mean, we're seeing that now going, well, 5G has caused this virus, or it's deliberate. I mean, so many people believe these conspiracies. Don't be ridiculous. It's just, why would China do that to their own people? That can't be true. But if you believe something, you make it real, whether it sounds crazy or not. So you investigate the client's belief, you interpret their old issues, you interrupt it, and then you install, rather like a coder, a much better belief. But you shouldn't lay a new belief over an old one. That's like you going, I've got this bobbly old t-shirt and it's really out of shape. And it's like, if I dye it red, I'll have a brand new t-shirt. No, you still got a bobbly old t-shirt, but out of shape. You just change the color. You've still got a pair of old leggings that have lost their elasticity. If you dye them, they're the same, but a different color. So yeah, and we do that. We try to make something old new. Doesn't often work. So a good coder will come in and look at your software and go, oh, this computer's got a bug and a virus and it's slowed down, and they clean up the virus and then install new software. And just like a coder, we RTT therapists clean up the bug, get rid of it, and then code in new software. And it's actually called, so my mind has just gone blank for 1 minute. It's actually called neuroplasticity, which means that thoughts are things. That if you can look at someone's neurons, you'll see that thoughts change neurons, beliefs change neurons. So neuroplasticity means coding in a new belief. And very quickly that stops being what the client does and it becomes who they are. And when it's who they are, their life is forever changed. And that's why it's wonderful. And so when my students, they always make a recording, always mention the client's name on that recording, maybe 5 times, so they know it's them. Amanda, as you go deeper. Kevin, now you are a phenomenal speaker. Elaine, you find it so thrilling to say no to cake. And the words are very empowering. And it really is that combination of understanding the past, extracting the old beliefs, and then coding in, wiring in, firing in new ones. The 3 things together what make it so powerful. Some people just try to code in the new stuff. Some people just try to talk about the old stuff, but you have to do all 3.
So then so the final piece is more of the affirmations or the hypnotic, recording.
Yeah.
But so you're just penetrating it through the conscious mind. So you're going conscious back down to the unconscious mind.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
go
final
into
step.
hypnosis, which is the unconscious mind. I mean, pretty much what you do is we have alpha, beta, delta, theta, brain wave.
Mm-hmm.
You go into alpha, which is the most suggestible state, and then you go into theta, which is the deepest state. Because you can tell people things like, oh, you don't want to drink, but they don't believe you. You can say to people,
Right.
eat chocolate. They go, well, every time someone says don't, I eat 3 times as much. So you have to get the subconscious mind to really lock into this, because the mind learns by repetition. A lot of people who work with human behavior don't actually understand how the mind works. It's very simple. First of all, it learns by repetition. No one says, I went to the gym, I did 100 sit-ups, and now I've got a flat stomach. They go, well, I had to go
Mm-hmm.
do those 100 sit-ups every day for 6 months. Then I got the flat stomach, and then I still had to work to maintain it. So repetition is an absolute key. Secondly, the mind only works in the present tense. When people say, next year I'll be a millionaire, next year I'll find love, next year I'll have this beach body, next year means nothing to the mind. You
Right.
have to say now, even if someone is obese, now you are becoming slim and trim and getting that beach body. And thirdly, the mind loves words that make a picture. If the picture is dramatic and compelling and descriptive, even better. So when you say, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling all right, I'm feeling okay, the mind really has no idea what you're talking about. I'm feeling quite good, not bad. You have to say, I feel phenomenal, I feel amazing, I feel empowered, I feel magnetically lovable, I feel immensely gifted, I have an incredible skill that I am powerfully monetizing. Because the mind is very excited by powerful words. And your job is to give it powerful words. And if you say something like, well, I want more money, well, I can give you $5. Is that what you wanted? No, you want to say, I want to use a skill I own and monetize that skill and constantly earn a fantastic revenue, even while I'm sleeping, because the mind understands that. I want love. What, how long for? An hour? An afternoon?
Right.
Night? No, you don't want. I want a wild, crazy guy in my bed, or a wild, crazy woman. Most people don't really want that. That's fine for a guy. You have to say, I am so lovable. I'm attracting my soulmate. I love him. He loves me. Or maybe, it doesn't matter what gender you are. We love each other. This person loves me. I love them. We grow a phenomenal relationship together because we love each other, respect each other, are wildly attracted to each other. And if you describe what you want only in the positive terms, you'll get it. But some people who should know better say things like, I'm no longer scared of being rejected. I no longer want to eat Krispy Kreme
Mm-hmm.
donuts. Well, there you are. You filled your
Right.
plate with Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm not scared of rejection. The mind doesn't even know what not, don't, maybe next week or tomorrow means. So use powerful, dramatic, descriptive words in the present tense. And even the words in front of us, I am phenomenally lovable. I am magnetically lovable. I'm attracting fantastic abundance consistently, constantly. So don't just stick to one word. Turn your mind on with something descriptive, compelling, and exciting.
So, are most of our beliefs formed in childhood?
Yes, we
Yeah.
learn half of what we learn in our entire life before we're even 5 years old, which is fascinating. And so many people I work with go back to having their needs as a child not met. And here's where the problem begins. If as a child your need to feel loved or safe or important or protected is not met, a child forms what I call a tag. Oh, nobody loves me, and here comes the tag, they never will. Oh,
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
safe, and I never will. Oh, we don't have any money, and it will always be that way. And we can look at people like Marilyn Monroe, a very classic example of someone who had everything as an adult,
Right.
forever that little girl who people didn't love. Princess Diana was pretty much, then Michael Jackson was the same. So many people with adult issues, it will go back to not feeling loved and not getting their needs met. So the first of all, they form this belief it will always be this way. But secondly, when you hurt a child and when you don't meet their needs, they don't stop loving you. They stop loving themselves. So when parents are mean to their kids deliberately, when they hit them, hurt them, or even when they go, I'm busy, I'm at work, I don't have time for this, I'm busy, I need to go to work. Some loving parents do very unloving things, not deliberately, but the child will never stop loving the parent, but they quickly stop loving themselves because they always think it's their fault. I mean, if you find a little kid whose mother has just died, age 5, they'll go, but why didn't she stay? Why didn't she love me when father leaves home? They can't work out, well, dad's an alcoholic, dad's crazy, or mum is too difficult to live with, or dad is so immature. They can only come to a conclusion, dad doesn't love me because I'm not lovable. And now that poor person has set up a belief that I'm never going to find love. Because if my own father didn't love me, I'm not lovable. So it almost always begins very early on. Sometimes things happen later, but the deep emotional lack, the money blocks, the love blocks, the health blocks, the success blocks, almost always are formed in your childhood. Occasionally not, but usually yes.
And where do you think about depression? Like, how does that play in to all of this?
Well, I've worked with depressed people for over 30 years with an incredible success rate. And these are only my beliefs. But first of all, this whole thing we're told about a chemical imbalance in your brain, those studies aren't flawed, by the way, they are non-existent. You cannot put electrodes on someone's head or indeed take a blood test and go, oh, you've got the chemical imbalance. And there are people who do very well on antidepressant medication, but I often wonder, is that the placebo effect? But in my experience, there are 3 things that cause depression. The biggest one are harsh, hurtful, critical words that we say to ourselves on a daily basis. I'm not enough. Who's going to love me? That's going to fail. I'm no good at this. I can't do that. And then we go, I'm just a loser. Look at me. I'm just a big fat mess. I'm just a waste of space. I mean, if you said that to your child every day, your roommate, you can guarantee it would sink in. And we are so hard and harsh on ourselves. The second thing that causes depression, and it's something that's happening in the world right now, is disconnection. Human beings are tribal people, and we need people. If you go to foster a dog, go, oh, you're not at home all day, and it's on, you can't have one. No, you need to, and they need company. And yet we disconnect ourselves. We live in a world, we've got all these Facebook friends, but no one to talk to. And a lot of people now are really suffering because we are asked to stay at home alone with no connection. And when you take connection away from people, it makes them very, very mentally unwell. I did some studies on the most difficult prisoners in the system, and they were the minority that were in isolation caused the majority of problems because it's inhumane. When you go to a pet shop, all the mice are sleeping together, all the cats and puppies are sleeping together. If you bring a pet home, it wants to sleep with you and cuddle up with you. Because isolation is a punishment. Every culture and tribe in the world knows how to isolate, cast out, banish, maroon, send kids to their room. So that's a big issue. We live in a world where we're creating more and more distance. You can call an Uber on your phone, never speak to that person, go to the store and pay for your groceries with a checkout with no person. You go to the bank. We're now creating a world where we are less and less connected. And the third thing that's a major cause of depression is failing to follow your heart's desire, always wanting to be a doctor, but knowing that you can't be a doctor and instead becoming a school teacher, and always feeling that you didn't do what made your heart sing, or maybe you wanted to be an athlete, but you weren't good enough. And so you became, I don't know, you worked in a store, but it was disappointing. And you must follow your heart's desire. My grandmother always wanted to act, but she came from a very, very underprivileged life. In fact, she was brought up in care. But she was very smart. She got a job as a dresser at the Royal Theatre. She used to dress Laurence Olivier
Oh,
because
wow.
she began to see what she wanted was to be in the theatre around that tremendous energy. So dressing actors, being the dresser, putting their clothes and taking them off. It's a bit like saying I'm a makeup artist. I'm not on TV, but I'm in the TV studios every day.
Mm.
And it's not the same, but it's better than not doing it at all.
Mm. Why are we so hard on ourselves? What happens? Because babies and children, toddlers, we're not hard on ourselves. When does that flip? What happens?
And well, your questions are so brilliant. I love them. So babies are born with their babies are born needing to survive, and they innately know something. To
Mm-hmm.
survive, I must find connection and avoid rejection. I must bond to my mother. She must like me, and then I'll survive on the planet. So little babies are very good at asking for attention, holding onto your leg. They find that very easy. But this need for connection, this need to avoid rejection is so powerful that very quickly we learn, I need to be like the tribe. So there are certain cultures that say the nail that stands out must be hammered down. And because our need to belong to the tribe is so powerfully wired into us, we try to mold to everyone else and be like everyone else. We all know that when we go to school, the tallest kid, the first kid to get breasts, the pretty kid, the kid with glasses, the rich kid, the poor kid, they don't quite fit into the group, and they often get bullied because in order to avoid connection, avoid rejection, and find connection, we start rejecting other people. We start to connect with the group by pushing other people out, and it's a horrible behavior.
Mm.
But it goes on a lot. And so children, if they don't feel secure and they're not serving you love them just for themselves, learn to be what I call the, do you like that? Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'll have what you have. Oh, I don't mind, whatever you want, because we're so scared of being rejected, because once upon a time rejection would have killed us. I was
Yeah.
actually watching Romeo and Juliet just yesterday, the new one with Douglas Booth and Halle somebody or other. And when they said you're banished, she said, I'd rather be killed. There's nothing beyond these walls but purgatory. Please kill me. I don't want to be banished to nothing. And that's our fear. We used to die of rejection. Now we don't, but we still feel like we might. We kind of know, look, I could live in an apartment with Amazon deliveries and 6 cats and never see anyone live till I'm 102. But our fear of rejection is so wired into us that we change. However, we don't ask for anything. If you have parents go, I want, never gets, and you're so greedy, and who do you think you are? We think, oh, I mustn't ask for anything. And amazingly, I see clients who say, I don't ask for anything. Never ask for anything. And I go, well, what have you got? And they go, nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I also haven't got rejection because I never ask. And it's such a shame that our parents, sometimes the most well-meaning parents, I worked with this stunning girl. I mean, she couldn't have been more breathtakingly beautiful. I never find love. I don't know what's wrong with me. I never, guys take me out, they sleep, and they never call me again. And amazingly, when I took her back, her dad used to sit her on his knee and say the same thing every day. You will never, ever, ever find anyone that loves you like me. Nobody could ever love you like me. It isn't
Wow.
possible. I love you so much, and you'll never find that kind of love again. And this was a well-meaning father, but he said that to her every day. And she formed an imprint. Oh, I'm never going to find love like this ever again. And guess what? She didn't. But after the session, she was married within a year and is still very happy because she understood that we play the only part we've ever known. And then we make that part. And so the part she had to play is, I'm never going to find anyone to love me like my dad. He's the only man that could ever love me like this.
My God, what a story.
I
I
know.
love that. It is so amazing what's going on in the unconscious mind.
I
And
know.
most of us have no idea. And we're
No,
walking around with all these, what I call programs or you call imprints. It's like, we don't know. We have no idea.
if somebody says something once, it's okay. But when they say it a lot, it becomes an imprint. I love you so much, I could eat you. If you don't behave, I'll give you away. If you're naughty, I'm going to take you an orphanage and leave you there. Those things don't make children conform. They just make them live in terror. I've seen so many clients tell me this, where my mum put on her coat, picked up a case and said, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. And I was terrified. And then my mum in the store got in the car and said, I'm leaving you here. And I stood on the pavement screaming. I didn't know it was a game. And she planned to go around the block and come back. I really believed she'd left me there. When she came back, I was so terrified. I stopped asking for anything. I mean, I saw that about 5 years ago, a woman in a store, and this kid was screaming and she drove away. And I thought, what a complete bitch. I mean, that kid could run into the car park.
No kidding.
I went and stood with him and I said, Mummy's coming back. And back she came and I said, I know you're going to tell me to mind my own business, but I see people damaged beyond belief when parents get in the car and drive away. By the way, this kid, this is a car park of a store. If he runs after you, he could be killed.
Kidding. God. Does it just take one time? And that's dramatic, of course. That's like traumatic.
No, the kind of parent that would do that, they do a lot. They withhold love. If it's a one time and it's not too dramatic, it's like if your parents lose their rag and smack you in a moment of stress, it probably won't damage you. But if they do that all the time, it will definitely damage you. If they're late to pick you up from school, that won't damage you. If they're late every day, it will leave you the belief that I'm not even worth getting here on time for. Everything is more important than me.
I'm imagining people listening to this that are parents thinking, oh my God, I can't screw my kids up. I better not ever say that. So it takes repetition, unless it's like a trauma that's happened to them.
Repetition. And a lot of people say, I wanted a boy. You were the mistake. I remember one of my friends came around, she said, this is my problem child, in a loving way, but she always called one of her sons her problem child. And it's like, you might as well, you're condemning that child to be, this is the pretty one and this is the clever one, this is the good one, this is the difficult one, this is the angel and this is the devil. And some parents say that, this is my devil child, but the kid doesn't really understand that. And so no parent ever gets it right. Believe me, I'm a parent. I've had a lot of epic failures. The difference is you have to go back to your kid and go, darling, Mummy was really cranky today. Daddy was really mean. I said some mean things. They understand that because they see that at school. They see it in the playground. They pick up a truck, they smack them on the head with it because they want it. Right. So they understand, I had a bad day. I didn't handle it very well. Daddy lost it today. I'm really sorry. If you own it, they deal with it because they know, I remember saying to my girls, darling, I was really mean to you because I know, Mummy, did you have your pyramid? I say, darling, Mummy's a bit cranky. She's got her period. Because, Mummy, I think you've got your pyramid today. You're being very cranky. And I love that she could understand, because they understand fighting and making up. They understand people getting cross because that's reality. What they don't understand is when they always have to think it's their fault because they can't fix it. If a child sees Mummy crying because she hasn't got money, they can't fix that. If a dad sees a parent hitting another parent, they can't possibly fix it. But because they feel they should, they then develop what's called learned helplessness. I must, but I can't. I can't, but I must. And
which keeps us stuck. It just keeps us stuck in that cycle.
And here we are now, because I'm stuck indoors. And I say I'm safe indoors. You see, just a little shift in your language will change everything. I'm stuck indoors. I'm trapped. I'm in lockdown. Well, actually, we aren't in lockdown. They're not sealing our doors up and locking them. But if you say, I'm stuck indoors, I'm trapped, I haven't got any freedom, I feel like I'm in jail here. If you say, I'm safe indoors, I'm safe indoors for a little few weeks and it will pass. And by the way, there's probably some good stuff I can find about this. You'll feel totally different. I'm trapped. I'm in prison here. This is like Armageddon. This is like an apocalypse. This is like, this is terrible.
Of course, it's going to create fear and anxiety when we talk like that to
Yeah,
ourselves.
I know. And that's what we have to realize, that often our parents say things like, I'm losing it. This is driving me crazy. This is killing me. You kids are killing me. You kids are making me lose my mind. You kids are driving me insane. Children react to those words the way we're reacting to, I'm in lockdown,
Yeah.
I'm trapped, I'm cooped up. But you're not cooped up. Even if you're in the house with 3 kids and a partner, you can go and lock yourself in the bathroom, run a bath and have half an hour to yourself. You can probably go for a walk. We're all in this together, but the way you feel about anything, bar none, is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words that you construct. And the words are actually more important than the pictures, because the words make the picture. When you say, I'm in lockdown here, that word forms, I'm in jail, I'm imprisoned.
Yeah.
The government has taken away my freedom. I'm stuck in the house. I'm trapped. I'm locked in. You will respond to those words powerfully when all you have to do is say, I'm safe indoors. And you know what? This isn't great, but it's also not terrible. I've got a home, got Wi-Fi, got food in the fridge, and it will pass. And in a few weeks when it's over, I'll look back and think, oh, I've always wanted time for myself. I wished I'd used that better.
Is it as simple as just changing a statement that we're saying to ourselves, or our words, picking our words consciously,
Really?
choosing our words? Is
Well,
it really that simple?
it really is that simple. I mean, since we're all at home, you should ask the people in your life, how do I describe myself? What are the words I use the most? So I worked with a very famous model who's, her favorite, terrifying. Everything was, I've just got a L'Oreal contract. That's terrifying. I've just got a partner, terrifying. I went on a plane and this guy was hitting on me, terrifying. I'm like, but it's not terrifying. How can it be terrifying to get a makeup contract and all that money? It's challenging. It might be a little bit scary, but the word, because you use the word terror, your reality is you live in terror, because your words shape your reality. If you don't like your reality, change your words. And many of us say that it's killing me, it's driving me crazy, it's stressing me, I'm at my maximum bandwidth, I'm terrified of this business. I'm freaked out about losing the money. I'm terrified about getting sick. I'm so worried about this virus that I can't leave the house. When in fact you could say, well, I'm concerned about the virus. Concerned is different to terrified. I'm doing some things like washing my hands, wearing a mask, taking the right vitamins, burning tea tree oil. And as I do that, I think, oh, I'm taking charge here. And now I'm concerned and I'm aware. I'm not terrified.
But what if someone really does feel terrified?
But then you have to stop using that word.
Yeah.
Stop
Like
saying,
soften it just a little bit, right? You come down off of it a little bit even.
because you will always react to the words you use. And many of us don't even understand how much we use these words. It's killing me. My
So
little
true. So
came
true.
and said, Mummy, how does Philippa get on the ceiling? And I said, I don't know. She said, but Mummy, I need to know, how does she get on the ceiling? And I realized that Philippa would always say, I will go up the wall if you make a mess, up the wall if you don't put your, up the wall.
Oh, wow.
And so she really had this belief that she could go up the wall. And so you have to really just take a little one. And, when I was a single parent, I remember I'd say a word, my kid is stressing me out. And then I realized that she's just a child I was told I could never have, by the way. And so she was my miracle baby. And I just changed the word stressing me out to challenging. She challenges me. All babies challenge you. But this is age appropriate. It's normal. When a 2-year-old is running along the beach and you say stop for them to keep going, they will stop by the third time. It's normal when you give them some new food and they just spit it out, go, I don't like it. It's normal for them to pick up your ornaments and break things and smear jelly on the carpet. It's age appropriate. And if you could say, well, this is age appropriate, they do this. You know, my kid gets into my bed in the middle of the night every night. They're not going to be doing that when they're 15, I promise you. So when you could go, well, this will pass. Yes, they are getting into my bed. They are, they've just gone into my makeup. And my friends, my kid was having a bath and they took my $40 bottle of Joe and tipped the whole thing in the bath. When I got this, Mummy, you can take it out again. They don't do that when they're 20.
No.
And, you know, you just have to understand it comes with the territory. So it is as simple as first recognizing the words you use and then changing them. You see, I see this so much in the area of health and exercise. I want to be slim. I could never give up my McDonald's. I want to be fit. I could never give up chocolate. I love chocolate. I want to go to the gym, but it's really boring and it's so painful doing those sit-ups. And one of the things I and all the people I've trained do is hone in like a laser on the words our clients use, because they tell you very quickly. This is like nobody could say no to a cookie, could they? I'm like, no, let's talk about you. Can you not say no? I could never say no to a cookie. Why is that? Well, my mother always made us finish everything. We weren't really allowed cookies. Whenever I get them, I cram them in and I could never waste them. And so it's about recognizing the words you use, where you got them from, and then choosing to go, well, if I want a different life, is it really as simple as changing different words? Absolutely.
Wow.
It really, really is simple. You know, if you use the words terror, nightmare, like people say to me, it's hell. Where? On the 405 freeway. That's not hell. Having no car and no money for gas and getting 4 buses to go to work might be hell. It's boring on the 405. It's certainly a challenge. There's no hell on the freeway. There is no hell in Hughes Market or Ralph's store or Tesco Express. There is no hell in any store in the world unless you go in there with no money and nobody to buy that food. Or like when I was in Zimbabwe and I was at an orphanage that I was funding, I went to a little store to buy food. They didn't have anything. I said, have you got any chocolate? They were like, no, we never have that stuff. Nobody here would buy candy.
Oh, wow.
We sell mealie meal and some fruit, but candy, no, we don't have that. So I bought lots of oranges and took them back for the children. And then I went back the next day to get more. And they're like, well, we don't have more because you bought all our stock. Because most people here have no money to buy food. And when they have bought it, we can't restock. That was hell. So when I was going, oh my God, it's hell in the store. Christmas Eve in the store is hell. I was thinking, wow, if you have money to go and buy food for people you love, to spend Christmas with, that's someone's fantasy dream come true. But if you call it hell, it begins to feel like hell, and we do that. Oh, it's hell on the fruit, it's hell in the store, it's hell in that mail, it's hell dealing with my kids, it's hell trying to get my child to do that, it's hell getting my kids out of bed, doing the school run. It's not hell. There's no hell in a store or on a freeway. And someone else would go, wow, I'll swap places. Your kid's demanding, I've spent $20,000 on IVF. Your husband's demanding in bed. I'd love your husband leaves his underpants on the floor. I'll take that. I'll put up with that if I could just have one. And I think what Meghan Markle did, unfortunate for her because she's not a bad person, but when she said, nobody asked me if I'm okay, it's like, what? You're married to a prince.
Right.
Perfect, healthy son. Your husband and you combined are worth more than $50 million. You wear dresses that cost $250,000. Why would someone ask if you're okay? I mean, ask someone who doesn't have a husband, can't have a baby, is working on the checkout of a sort of minimum wage if they're okay. And I think she made a mistake when she did that, because it was very much poor me. And people were like, "Well, your life is my fantasy dream come true." And it's disappointing. It's like when a rock star goes, "Oh my God, it's such hell. You know, I just got $80 million for this album, and now I've got, it's taken all my joy away." It's like, well, I'll swap places with you.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, this was so good. I want to ask you the final question, which you're famous for. I know you're famous for a lot of things, but the one statement, what is the number one affirmation that you preach?
I am enough.
I know.
And it's my whole movement, and it gives me immense joy because all over the world people send me pictures. One mother said, "I've printed this on my children's pillowcases, so the last thing they see, and indeed the first thing, is I am
Oh,
enough."
I
I've
love
had,
that. Ah,
isn't it amazing? I've had
yeah.
parents plant it out in seeds in the garden, write it in sand. People send it to me all over the world. Somebody recently said, "I've just put it on all my light switches, so when I switch them on and off, I must say the words, I'm enough." And I've had many, many schools write to me. I had somebody wrote to me this morning and said, "As soon as our school goes back, I must get all these students to do testimonials. We've had like 15-year-old bullies, and we've taken them out of the class and put them into your I'm Enough program. Bullying has stopped overnight." Because the bullies
Wow.
felt so inadequate. They've diminished other kids, because if you feel inadequate, it's a bit like if this was a seesaw. I'm here and the bully's here, but in the bully's mind, actually, this is going on. And the only thing they can ever do is to diminish you or elevate themselves, because they want that to go on. So I love I'm Enough because I discovered in my 30 years of therapy that the common denominator of all of our issues stems from I'm not enough. I have an addiction to alcohol or food or cakes or drugs or shopping or shoplifting or sex because I'm not enough. And when you're not enough, you need more. And when you know you're enough, you can have more, but you don't need it.
Mm.
Hoarding, all these issues are caused by the not enoughness. And we can look at some amazing, like Heath Ledger, what a beautiful, talented boy. Kate Spader, what a gifted designer Kate Spader. But the not enoughness is so rampant in our society now. Because of the media, we watch things like Friends. You're a waitress living in Central Park. Well, I've never seen that happen in my lifetime. Everyone is perfect. They get out of bed with shiny, glossy hair, and it's all perfect. And it's a big problem that we've made reality look so different. We look at social media, everyone's perfect. We look at Instagram and everyone's perfect. We think, oh, and then we feel inadequate. We start to buy into this I'm not enough. We see people like Kim Kardashian with 4 children, always looking perfect, all perfect body. We forget the army of nannies and cleaners and cooks and chefs behind the scenes. But these people help us to feel not enough. When you know you are enough, it changes your life so profoundly. Because when you realize you're enough, the whole world will join in when you know you're enough. You know they're enough, they know you're enough. And so it's been such a joy for me to start this I Am Enough movement. And people write me, somebody recently said, I was actually working out if I jumped out of my window, is it high enough to kill me? Because I wanted to die, but I did not want to be paralyzed. And then I saw your I'm Enough on YouTube, and amazingly, within 3 days, my whole life changed. I've never thought about suicide since.
Wow.
I'm happy. And someone else
That's
said,
big.
I know. And
So,
someone else said, I watched that, and it's the words for me to leave an abusive marriage, go to my super and get my husband taken out of the building, and then go into a store and get a job, and then get my kids out of danger. And it was just those 3 words. I kept saying, I'm enough to do this. I'm enough. Because women who are hit, you're not enough. You've got nothing. Nobody will ever want you.
Yeah, so true. So what do people need to do? And I'm going to put the link to your YouTube channel for the I'm Enough.
You must make it what I call, affirmations are great, but I like the word statements of truth because it's very descriptive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
affirmation, but the word affirmation, people don't really understand what that means. I'm affirming something. So I would recommend write it all over your house, on your mirrors, put it on your fridge, in magnets, put it on your screensaver, have it everywhere, on little chalkboards, blackboards, have it printed on cushions. There are so many ways to put I'm enough into your life. Like you might notice I've got all these little bracelets and they all say I'm enough.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we give them away. In fact, recently someone contacted me and said, I saw you talking and you were throwing them in the audience, and I grabbed a handful and I was giving them out of school, and my teacher said, what are you doing? And I told her, and she said, we're going to have an assembly on that. And they had a whole assembly on
Wow.
I'm enough. And then another school in Spain said that they've got all the kids to make a little plaque for their desk saying I'm enough. So there are so many ways to do it. You know, you want to actually link it to something you do. For instance, when you have a shower, it's the perfect time, so I'm enough. When you clean your teeth and it says it on your mirrors, I'm enough. You want to make it something that's sinking into you every day. And then you want to, in a very safe way, put it into your password. You put I'm enough with squiggles and dots and letters and capitals and lowercase. But if you have to type that every single day to open your phone, to get into your email, you're actually doing that repetition of writing it, reading it, saying it, thinking it. Put it on your phone alert so it goes off twice a day. Put it on your pillows, put it on your cushions, put it on your underwear. Have one of those wash off tattoos. Somebody wrote to me at 80 and said, look at my tattoo. I wish I'd found you years ago, but thank
Oh,
goodness I
wow.
found you now. And I loved that she had it on her arm at 80 years old.
I love that you put it everywhere in the house, and it still blows my mind that someone went from suicidal to changing their emotional state in just 3 days just from saying this.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened a lot. The little girl
Wow.
who was giving away in a school in Norway, someone asked me to have lunch with her. And I didn't have time. I went, no, it's really important. She said to me, I wanted to kill myself because I've been bullied. And I
Oh,
said, oh, you're I'm enough. And it changed my life. So, and we
wow.
hear that a lot. So it's very exciting, which just makes us even more determined, makes me even more determined to keep that movement going. So we're always inviting people to send in new ways to put I'm enough into their life.
Oh, I
I had
love
a
it.
school in Croatia, wrote it all across the playground, which I thought was really exciting. So we're always finding new and innovative ways that I wouldn't even have thought of. You know, people ice cakes with it, print it on their toast, write it on
Oh,
T-shirts.
that's so cute.
My sleep mask says I'm enough. So I've got a lot of T-shirts that say I'm enough, and it's really exciting. There's so
Oh,
many ways to do it,
I
and fridge
love it.
everything.
I love it. What is your YouTube channel?
Oh, my YouTube channel is Marisa Peer. I think Marisa Peer Therapy, and I Am Enough is my YouTube channel. My Instagram, oh, actually, my YouTube channel is Marisa Peer.
Mm-hmm.
My Instagram is Marisa Peer Therapy, and I'm Enough. My Twitter is I'm Enough, and my Facebook is Marisa Peer.
So you have Twitter and then Facebook. And then if people want to find you just online, like a website, what is that? And I will go ahead and link
If
that.
you go to marisapeer.com, we give away a lot of free stuff. I know that as I speak, we have free audios to
Mm-hmm.
free you from wealth blocks, love blocks, health blocks, success blocks, money blocks. They're all completely free. There's no catch. We do not ask you for your credit card. Just go and take that stuff. So marisapeer.com is for free stuff. rtt.com if you would like to train as a therapist, and it is the best job in the entire world, or find
Mm-hmm.
someone who
Mm-hmm.
does what I do, who is every bit as good as me. You know, a lot of people say, but it's you. No, it's my technique. And we've got all over the world amazing, incredible graduates who are doing so well. Or go to imenough.com. That's the whole course. And we again give away chapters of that and parts of that. And it will really change your life.
I will put all of this in the show notes so everybody can go there and get all these links. Oh my gosh, this was so great. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank you very much.
I loved it, and I know everyone else will as well. So
Good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah. All right, everybody. I will see you next week, seated right here in the adult chair. Have a beautiful week.